Hey, it's your friendly neighborhood DJ JazzHandss here, bringing you a review of last Sunday's Walking Dead episode titled The Same Boat. Now, this video is going to be a bit different from the others, seeing as it's spring break and the radio station that I normally do the Dead Air episodes on is closed for the week. It's just going to be me, myself, and I for this video, so unfortunately it's going to be a bit shorter than normal, and just my opinion on the episode as a whole. However, I've been loving the comments from everyone who has been commenting. It's awesome to hear everyone's opinion, theories, speculations, the whole 9 yards. So let me know what you guys think of the episode in the comments below, and let's dive right in. My first overall thought of the episode as a whole was that it was a very heavy character development driven episode for Carol and Maggie. I apologize, that's my door. I'm recording this at home, so like I said, it's different. I'm not in the studio, so there you go. But it's a very Carol and Maggie character driven episode. It was a lot slower than the episode before it. It gave us a bit of a break from the overall action, which I think we kind of needed. It was also fun to see the interaction with Carol, Maggie, and the Saviors, which I'm going to say right now, I love the Saviors. Every single one we've met so far has had their own interesting personality, traits, comments. They're hilarious. I love them. That's not saying every character we've met doesn't have a good personality, but it's all centered around surviving, what's right and wrong, how to live in this world, so on and so forth. It's just a new splash of character that we've not seen so much yet in the Walking Dead world. My favorite, of course, of the Saviors that we got to see last time was Molly. Just her attitude during the episode, from saying the whole thing about the group that attacked Daryl and Sasha and Abraham, that they were showing off and put on a big show and that's how they died, was fun and interesting and gave them a kind of like quirks that I really liked. And then the whole thing when she's killing the walkers and she says, "I'll get you in a minute, Shug," that was awesome. It's just a personality that we haven't seen much of, and I'm loving it. I think it's because the survivors don't have to deal much with the moral dilemma of what's right and what's wrong, and can fully be themselves. One thing I loved about this episode is that we sort of got a glimpse of how the survivors think. They're a group of people who found a way of surviving by scaring and manipulating other groups with brute force. It might not be the right way of surviving, but it's still a way that they justify. One of the lines I love is when Michelle tells Maggie that, or Chell tells Maggie that her group, Rick and the gang, aren't good guys. Which in some aspects is true. Yes, the Saviors are a bad group, but they are survivors, just like our group. And our group were the ones that led the attack on them and killed a lot of their men, killed a lot of them. So in that aspect, yes, our group is the bad guys for this episode, unfortunately. And I think Chris Hardwick said it best on Talking Dead. The lines are slowly becoming more and more blurry. And it's not white and black anymore, it's becoming a lot more gray. The episode did a fantastic job with humanizing the Saviors, which is something we needed. By humanizing them and giving them personalities that tell whole backstories, we can relate to them and they become people. In that way, then our group does sort of look like bad guys in this episode. Paula was the one that broke the boundaries of bad and good, I feel. Hearing her backstory of how she was a simple woman that worked hard and sort of got nowhere, looking for any grasp of inspiration to keep her going, humanized her to the point that I feel Carol saw a lot of herself inside of her. The parallels between the two characters was so much fun. The same goes for Maggie and Chell and the parallels between the two. Maggie had to have seen a lot of herself in Chell. Again, another point of depending on which group you joined, you mold into that way of life. It's something I said last week and I'm going to stick to it. Some of the Saviors are good people that just fell into the wrong group and were molded this way. I think at some point Rick and the group are going to offer the Saviors a way out, and some might take it. Also, let's get this out of the way right now. The Saviors are not done, and there is a Negan. He is coming, I know it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to be playing him, and it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait. This had to have been one of the groups that worked on the outposts of where Negan's base is actually located. There is no way the Saviors are done, and we will see them again. This is just a big ploy to get our guards down and make us feel safe, but it's not, and I think the Saviors are going to be coming. Okay, so now I'll talk a little bit about what I didn't like. And it's just a minor complaint that I have for, myself, or what at least I felt. Even though Carol and Maggie looked like they were in danger and things got very hectic, it never truly felt like they were in that much danger to me. I mean, it's Carol. We've seen what she's done against greater odds. So going up against 4 people is nothing for her. Carol knows how to play the game better than anyone else on The Walking Dead. Throw in a pregnant Maggie into the mix, and there's no way you're gonna win. So that's about the only complaint I have with this episode, and I hope that they sort of change that soon. I love Carol being a badass, but I can't wait for that one moment where no one knows how she's going to get out of a situation. But yeah, that's about my only complaint, and I'm hoping we get a situation soon where our group is in true danger and can't back out of it. That might be the cynical side of me talking, but still, I want that feeling we got when Rick and the gang ran into Joe's group and it looked like their number was up. Something to show that our group is not as strong as they think they are and will truly change them as people. I think we might be getting that when Negan shows up, but that's just me. Okay, so I want to talk about Carol real quick because she has gone through the most development out of anyone in the group. You can truly see the weight of every death on her shoulders, and the thought of killing anyone else is getting harder and harder for her. I think that when things come to a head with the Saviors, Morgan and Carol are going to be the ones to offer the Saviors a way out. That being said, Carol can still play the game. If you notice within the episode, she made herself look weak to lower the defenses of the Saviors, pretended to hyperventilate so she can get the gags off their mouth, told them that Maggie was pregnant to get a little bit more sympathy out of them, then throughout the entire episode talking to them, trying to kind of bond with them, get to know them a little bit better. I think she was playing them, but in a way that we haven't seen before, where she was trying to get them to join up with her more so than kill them. I think she was just looking for an out so that she didn't have to kill anybody again. I mean, it's clear that she was scared to and would only do it if it was necessary and her back was against the wall and she had to protect somebody, which she did. But I think she didn't want that. I think she's trying to find a way out. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I absolutely love Carol, because her character has gone through, like I said, so much development, and she's starting to change now more so than ever. She's becoming somebody different, somebody that we haven't seen before, and it's kind of like I said before, where because I was in that situation where I felt that the show was kind of because Carol, it's Carol. I'm waiting for that moment that she kind of becomes less of a badass and more of a I want to protect people. And I think her and Morgan are going to be getting closer as time goes on, not as in a relationship wise, but as in they're going to become closer friends, and she might stop killing entirely because it's getting to her and it's not the way of survival anymore. If you want to rebuild this world, you need to stop killing. So that's my kind of thoughts on Carol as a whole. Now I want to talk about Maggie next, because she's gone through some changes as well. It seems that she's becoming a lot more angry and a lot more dangerous. There still might be a bit of old her in there, and it seems like she's still trying to care and protect people, but she's becoming a lot more cold and a lot more cynical. She's becoming kind of more like Carol, I feel. She feels she has to finish the job, she has to kill everybody, and she has to do what she has to do to survive. I mean, that being said, because I have a problem with this, because at the end of the episode where she was very much, I can't do this anymore, I can't do this anymore, and that might have been because the taste of Carol. I mean, I see a lot of parallels between her and Carol right here, and it really does feel that the two are kind of starting to go past. Like, Carol's a little bit ahead of Maggie, and Maggie was never one to really be like, oh, let's finish these guys, let's do what we have to survive, because she's had the group, but now she's starting to become her own person in this world, essentially, which, I mean, that could be bad for Glenn. Hopefully not, but that could be bad because she's becoming her own person and she might feel that she can't do it. And I feel that if Glenn's death does happen like it does in the comics, then we're going to get a darker Maggie that might be where Carol kind of was, if not maybe a little bit more extreme, or definitely be like how Chell and her was, because it's like I said a little bit earlier, the parallels between these two characters, or between these characters and our characters, have been interesting, because they are essentially, if you mold them in a certain way, they're going to be like that. So I'm wondering where Maggie's going to go. I think it's going to be darker. I think she's going to be a little bit darker, especially if stuff happens. But I'm interested to see where she's going, and it's going to be kind of fun to see her go from this farmer's daughter to possibly even more badass than Carol in a way. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see where that goes. As for any predictions that I have for next episode, I think it's going to be another slow one. I think it's going to kind of, and I hope it does this, that it really gets to fully develop Carol and Maggie's personality more, and we get to see kind of, not the fallout from what happened, but we get to see Carol kind of develop a little bit more. We get to see Maggie develop a little bit more. The only thing that makes me a little bit worried about having another Carol episode is that, and I've said this before, when The Walking Dead kind of starts focusing heavily on one character, that's kind of a bad sign, and their number might be up. I mean, they kind of did it with Tyrese and everything that he went through with the group before he passed away. They definitely did it with Sophia a little bit, not necessarily her whole character arc, but, you know, that whole thing at the farm. Definitely with Beth, they went through some stuff too. So whenever you single out a character, I get very worried that it might show a little more danger. And it's going to be interesting to see Carol, it's going to be interesting to see Carol and Daryl talk, because I think Daryl's going down a darker road with Maggie. And if they mirror the comic books any, which I'm sure they're probably going to, I know, and a little spoiler for the comics, I know that they kind of separate. The group kind of separates, and Maggie goes to Hilltop and becomes the leader of Hilltop, which I could see very well happening. And maybe Daryl might follow her, and they might become kind of like badasses where, you know, they're more militaresque up there and stuff. But all I know is that Daryl's going down a dark road, and it's going to be interesting to see him and Carol have a back and forth and talk about what's going on and stuff. And see maybe if Carol can, you know, bring him back a little bit and say, hey, we need to bring people in. We need to kind of stick together with people, and not all people are bad. Yes, we've run into the saviors, but not all people are bad. So that's going to be interesting. And I mean, with only 3 more episodes left of the season, things are going to start ramping up, and they're going to like ramp up very, very quickly. I got a feeling that these next 3 might be definitely Carol and Daryl talking. It's going to be another slow character-driven one. And then the last 2 episodes, I assume stuff's going to go crazy. I could see maybe Tara getting kidnapped by the saviors, and that's when we learn that there's more out there. And then, like I said, season finale, it could be Rick and the gang get her back. They think they're safe. They think that, okay, now we got all the saviors, and that's when I think Negan's going to come, because not just once but twice, Rick and his group came in, destroyed a bunch of his men, and he's going to be more than pissed off. So that's what I think is going to be happening in these next 3 episodes. But I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. The Walking Dead always throws curveballs. So I'm excited. I can't wait. So thanks everybody so much for tuning in. I know this video is a bit weird and short and everything, and I'm sorry that it's coming out a little bit late. I got super sick this morning, but I started feeling better around 3 today, and I was just like, I'm gonna go do this, and I gotta get this out now. I really want to work on this. So, but either way, thanks. Things are going to be going back to normal next week. We're going to have the normal show. It's going to be 8 a.m. on 89.5 The Wave, and the show's going to be normal next week. Just this week's been a little bit weird and hectic, and I do apologize again that the video is out late. Also, too, I want to hear what you guys think about, you know, the thoughts about this episode and your opinions of what's going to happen next. I love the comment section that we've been getting. It's been a lot of fun hearing your guys' thoughts and opinions and ideas, and I want to hear more. Just let me know what you guys think, and I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. I'm super, super excited. So thanks everybody so much for checking it out, tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, because we can do that. Hopefully we'll get more episodes out. And thanks, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Bye!